So, 2025 kinda sucks so far, I'm gonna be honest. And if you're anything like me, you've been leaning into movies, shows, and games to avoid negativity in that slippery mental spiral. So, with that in mind, here are the games that I have played so far in 2025. I love Metroid Prime. I got the original on GameCube when it came out, and I was immediately addicted. The atmosphere of the world they've created, along with one of the best soundtracks on the GameCube, makes for one of the most highly immersive Metroid experiences, in my opinion. The limited perspective of the first-person view really helps to create the feeling of being alone and isolated, as you're constantly having to turn your head and look around just to take in the room. This playthrough went much faster than they usually do, because I sort of binged it this time. And I'm by no means any type of speedrunner. The tricks required to sequence break this game are some of the hardest in the series to a casual player. It's not like Super Metroid, where you could just take 15 minutes and learn how to morph ball across a disappearing bridge and get Ice Beam early or whatever. No. You gotta balance on the tiny tip of this damn rock, then double jump using morph ball bomb, then land on the invisible edge, scoot at the perfect angle to where you can jump up and get space jump boots early. Yeah, okay. No thanks. Next. I have tried so many times to get into Mega Man. Like, really, I've tried to play Mega Man 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and 11, and every time it goes the exact fucking same. I die. A lot. This time, however, I was determined. I've heard so many great things about the Mega Man X game, so I figured if there was ever going to be an entry point for me, this was it. It was now or ever. Like I said, I was determined. Never again would I be humiliated by the Mega Man series. Well, that's what I thought till I booted up the game, that is. Mega Man is just hard as shit, there's no other way around it. I think it speaks to the change in perspective of gamers from the retro days to now. Back then, game developers knew many, if not most kids, would only be able to get 1 or 2 games for their consoles. So they copied this sort of arcade-style approach and made games insanely hard that would take a really long time to beat so people would feel like they got their money's worth. Because of this, we got games like Ninja Gaiden, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, which are both actually great games in their own respect, but generally accepted to be impossible to beat for casual players. Mega Man is another one of these games, and Mega Man X, while I did have a great time trying not to pull my hair out or throw my Switch out the window, is still really, really hard. Maybe I'm just not an epic gamer like you probably are. Anyway. The Legend of Zelda is probably my favorite series of games, and I've played and loved most of the series' mainline titles ever since the Ocarina of Time came out in the 90s. That being said, even I missed out on most of the Zelda Game Boy titles until I was an adult. The only one I played on the Game Boy as a kid was Link to the Past on the Game Boy Advance, and that was a Super Nintendo game originally. So, now as a responsible adult, I am going back and covering all the handheld titles that I missed. Minish Cap is great. There's a lot of character in this one. It's a shorter game with only 6 dungeons and 4 elements to collect, but it's still jam-packed with stuff to do and great characters that provide motivation for you to want to solve the problems in this world. I love the Picori that Link shrinks down and interacts with throughout the game. They're always hidden in plain sight from the normal-sized characters, but the way they have integrated into the larger world around them adds this sense of magic to the game. This is the sort of thing as a kid I would have loved to imagine finding in real life. Like, could you imagine opening an old shoebox and seeing a small town of magical people running around? That is good world building in a video game. Also, the Kinstones suck. Anyway. If you know, you know, baby. I'm not usually a mobile gamer, I'll be honest. But when I do find one that I like, I get really, really into it. And it makes sense that that kind of game would be Pokemon. I mean, duh, right? If you know anything about me or my channel, you know I love Pokemon games. Glitchy, broken, and all. The new TCG is great. It has the accessibility to play the card game, which I used to do a lot in real life. I still have decks. But it also scratches that pack-crackin' itch. So it's no surprise that Pokemon TCG has already grossed over $400 million since its global launch in October of last year. Seems like everybody is playing these days. This is a no-brainer. It's gotta be on the list. Okay, last one on today's list is pretty interesting because it's actually not from any major gaming studio. It's independent. A little game you might have heard of called chess. Boy, do I play a lot of chess. Online, over the board, on my phone, you name it. I love it. Now, let me be clear. That does not, however, mean that I am any good. Nope. Hell no. Your 8-year-old little sister who goes to chess club could probably destroy me in a couple moves. But that's not the point. Chess is great, and there's nothing more humbling than losing 10 games in a row. I love it. Video games are great. Shigeru Miyamoto is quoted as saying when he makes a Zelda game, it's like he's making a miniature garden for players to explore, and I think this definition works really well for how I've been feeling about games lately. I love to explore the garden. I love to go on that grand adventure and then put it in my desk drawer for another time. Gaming has the ability to transport us to different and incredible worlds and maybe, hopefully, inspire us to face the beauty, challenge, and adventure that is reality. Well, maybe not today. Thanks for watching.